everyone, and welcome to another video. I am Kaya with Exercises for Injuries and Lifelong Wellness, and today we're going to be talking about 6 yoga poses that you can do for fibromyalgia. So fibromyalgia, if you don't know what it is, it's chronic, widespread pain and a heightened pain response to pressure. So chronic pain basically. So it's going to make it really tough to do things like exercise because those things are going to feel more painful. So the reason that we're going to go over some yoga poses today is that yoga is a great way to relax a hypersensitive nervous system, being linked to things like fibromyalgia. So we're using yoga to shift from that sympathetic nervous system, that fight or flight, anxiety response, into the parasympathetic, the rest and digest, relaxing side of our nervous system. So if we can calm down our nervous system, hopefully that will bring some relief from the pain and discomfort that those of you with fibromyalgia experience. So another benefit with yoga being that we get to stretch out muscles that for you might be tight, cramped, and painful, stretching them out to their normal length, bring some relief into the body and the muscles and the joints, and hopefully make it a little bit easier and less painful to do our everyday movements. So the 6 series of poses designed to help relax our nervous system and stretch out a little bit. So I've got some props here, but you can do all of these with whatever you've got at home. All of these you can do in your bed. You don't need a yoga mat. You don't need anything special. So this first one we're going to do is legs up the wall. Great one because it's a really gentle inversion. We get to help blood flow back to the heart, a really nice way to calm down the nervous system. So finding any wall, what I'm going to do first is scoot my bum all the way up against the wall and then slide my legs up. So if you don't have the flexibility in the back body to have the legs straight up like this, you can always move away from the wall a little bit. And so really all I'm doing here is starting to take some really deep breaths. And the benefit here with this gentle inversion is having the legs up above the heart, so it's a lot easier for that blood to come back to the heart and get reoxygenated. Heart doesn't have to work as hard, so we can kind of relax. So sometimes it's nice to have one hand on the heart, one hand on the belly. And you can use that to really come into your body in the present moment, noticing what it feels like to breathe. Deep inhales and exhales, as well as maybe you can feel your heart beating, just a reminder that you're here, that you're healthy, that you're safe. So staying here for at least 10 deep breaths if you can. Sometimes the feet start to get tingly or numb, so if you're finding it too uncomfortable, coming out whenever you need to. So that's our first one. Second thing we're going to come into is a supported bridge. So a great one to relax the nervous system, but also really great for low back pain, SI joint, sciatica, anything like that. So taking a folded up towel, if you have a block, if you have a bolster, a pillow, anything, you can play around with what's comfortable. So what I'm going to do is actually put my blanket over my block so that I kind of have a bit of stability, but it's a bit softer. Coming onto my back, feet planted on the floor, and then I'm just going to bring whatever I have for support underneath my low back, so that flat part, the sacrum. You can kind of play around where it's comfortable, and you'll also have to find out what height works for you. So you might find you need just like something little underneath the low back, or you might want something a little bit taller, a little bit firmer to have a little bit more of an opening there. So staying here, or if you'd like, you can bring the toes in, heels out, and let the knees drop in. Arms out to the side, and so from here it's called constructive rest, and you can just completely let go here. Nothing needs to be working in order to keep you in this position. And again, if it feels okay, you can close the eyes and then just deep breaths here. So each exhale, just letting go a little bit more, whether it's something mental or physical, seeing if you can let go of some sort of tension here. Good, so hopefully feeling a release in the low back, a bit of some more space. Often the low back can feel compressed or cramped from maybe the way we stand or sit. So this is a great chance to give the low back a break. All right, so coming into exercise number 3, baby cobra. So this one's going to be a little bit more strength based. So if you find that it's too painful to come into this one, you can definitely skip it. But what we're going to do is come onto our tummies, tops of the feet are on the floor. And then I'm going to bring my hands underneath my shoulders. If that's too hard, you can bring them further out in front. I'm going to take a deep breath in, shoulders down away from the ears, and then just start to lift my chest up a little bit. So we're not worrying about using the hands too much, but they can be there for support. And we also aren't worrying about how high up we come. So if you come an inch up off the floor, that's a perfect place to be. We're just looking for that opening through the front of the chest. You can take deep breaths. Fill the front body, feel that stretch through the front body, maybe feel a nice stretch through the abdominal muscles here. And then we're also working that back a little bit too. So a nice, a bit of a counter pose maybe to that last one. So again, if you can, 10 deep breaths, and then on the last exhale, gently release back down. So next, coming into a supported child's pose. So I'm going to use a yoga bolster, but you can use anything you have. A pillow, maybe 2 or 3 stacked pillows. I kind of find the longer the better because it's nice when it can also support the head. So I'm going to bring toes together, and then the further apart my knees are, the more intense the stretch in my hip. So if you've got really tight, painful hips, you might want to start with those knees together and then eventually work your way out. So the hips are coming to sit back on the heels. Deep breath here, find length in the spine. And then exhale, hinging forward. Arms can come out in front. And then I find it kind of nice to just rest my ear on one side. So again here, the idea is every exhale to just release more into it, feel even heavier. And then maybe halfway through you want to move that ear to the other side. It can also maybe be a bit of a nice neck stretch. Good, so just letting that relax you, letting those deep breaths, focusing on the breath and how the body feels, relax you. Good, so the 5th one we're going to go into is eagle arms. Now, we're going to go into this because a really common area of pain for people with fibromyalgia is the tight shoulders and neck. I mean, it's a tight area for everyone. So eagle arms is a great way to stretch into that area. Full eagle arms is pretty intense, so we're going to go through some modifications so you can find a place that works best for you. So full eagle arms is wrapping one arm under the other and then twisting again so that the palms come together. So that being full eagle arms, and then working the elbows up and away from the body. So if that's not accessible, maybe you can cross the arms, and maybe you can even grab onto the shoulders, and then starting to work those elbows up away from the body. So we're feeling this between the shoulder blades maybe, the traps, the upper shoulders and neck area. So wherever you are, just sitting with that discomfort. There's going to be discomfort when we get deep into the muscle like this. But seeing if you can sit there as long as you can take deep breaths. So working towards 10 deep breaths on one side and switching, so wrapping the other arm underneath, shoulders down away from the ears, and then those elbows are working up and away from the body. And again, 10 deep breaths. You can close the eyes. And you can do this from standing, sitting, lying, really however you want to be, because we're just working with the arms. Good, and then the final thing we're going to do is a forward fold. So again, gentle inversion where we're lowering the heart down towards the floor. Options here, you can always do a forward fold from seated if standing's too difficult. I find actually a seated forward fold to be more difficult because you really have to work those core muscles to keep your spine in alignment. But nice way to do is to sit up on a bolster or a block or even multiple ones. You can kind of layer them if you want, just to bring yourself up higher so that when you inhale, tall spine, exhale, hinge at the hips, you've got more space in that back body to fold forward. From standing, we'd find feet hip distance apart. Maybe just a slight bend in the knees to start. Inhale, tall spine. Then exhale, use your core to hinge from the hips, come forward, drop the arms down. And then once you're here, option to bend the knees as much as you need to. You can let the head hang heavy if that feels okay, maybe stretching into the neck a bit. And then maybe you stay like this. Maybe you grab elbows, rock a little side to side. If those hands get to the floor, you can plant them. And then nice thing with blocks is you can use those blocks to lift the ground up to you. So if you want a more active forward fold where the legs are engaged and the core is working, you can actually plant those hands down and find length through the front of the body as well. So again, more restorative, just letting things hang out here. 10 deep breaths. And it's okay here if the spine rounds a little bit more because we don't have much load on the spine, so usually we try to keep that spine neutral. But if it's painful to engage all your muscles to keep the spine long, just letting yourself relax here. And then when you're ready to come up, bending those knees, slowly coming up. Last thing to lift is the head. And that's it. So I hope that you go through those and that they are helpful for you. So again, if they are helpful, leave us a comment, let us know. And as well, like the video, subscribe to our channel. We're always looking for suggestions and want to know what you guys want to see more of. So hope that that's useful for you. Let us know if you have any questions and we'll see you in a future video. Bye.